everybody. Welcome to MSR Houston Speedway out here in Engleton, Texas for the first round of the 2010 Rotax Pan American Championship. My name is Wes Phillips, and what I'm going to be doing here is taking you through a corner-by-corner synopsis of the track, what the driver's going to see, what they're going to experience, and give you more of an onboard view here with another driver. So it puts you in the race at the Pan American Challenge. Now we've come off the start-finish line here, and most engines will be running at their rev limiters, 14,100, 14,200 RPM. And in Rotax Senior, that's approximately 110, 112 kilometers an hour, about mid-70s, even close to 80 miles an hour, getting into this very, very tricky, very difficult section of track. In my opinion, it's one of the more complicated areas here at MSR Houston for the Pan American Challenge. As you get into this corner, the trick is you have to brake while you're turning. And for a lot of drivers with just rear brakes, that becomes increasingly difficult. Here we are at the very driver-intensive Houston complex. As you can see, it starts off with a fairly rapid left-hand bend where drivers are going to be seeking to use 100% of the left-hand apex curb. Just as we've seen before, the use of curbing on this track is very important for drivers. So as we walk through this Houston complex, you'll notice that the line is pretty defined and fairly narrow. There's a very dark area on the track where the driver's outside tires are traveling. And then as they reach the apex here, we'll have some dark patches that we can zoom in on where there's some undulations in the asphalt. Drivers are going to have to optimize those very particular, very minute sections for extra grip to get forward acceleration into the next complex. So first part here, left-hand bend, you can see actually a little trim of the grass right on the very crest of the curb. And then a very dark section where the karts are getting extra grip, a little extra momentum moving into the right-hand bend, following suit after this left. Bottom end of the Southern S right now in the Houston complex. And what I want you at home to pay close attention to is this particular bit of grind marks on the curbing here. What causes these grind marks are, in our classes, are the chain ring and the chain grinding against the ground. So if the chain ring is right here, then by all theories, the right side tire is in the grass. We've seen this here at MSR Houston a few times before. Drivers are going to be hooking their karts around the insides of curbs, actually placing the tires in the dirt so that the sidewall of the tire will actually rub against the inside of the apex curb, pulling them around the track. Like a airplane on a string in a city park, you'll see. Held on by the string, the plane goes around in a tight circle. Now, with a go-kart, it's pretty much the same concept. If you drop those tires just inside of this curb, you're going to notice a little bit of a higher speed on the exit and into Paddock Bend. When traveling up to Paddock Hill Bend, they are bump and grind. You get into this left-hand section, you're going to see the front ends of chassis, the midsections of chassis actually grinding against the ground, bumping all over the place, because this is a very, very rough section of track. And to get it right, the rougher it is, the faster you go. So we move into this left-hand section here, just a quick jog, apex curb here. You get a little bit too much of this, and the car's going to be in the air, a little go-kart airplane. We're going to see getting into Paddock Hill. That's not a very good thing for this particular section. So drivers are going to be using less of this curb, creating a straight line into Paddock Bend, a banked right-hand corner where the karts stay in the RPM range and get great exits with good chassis setups. one very important section here to remember about is the left-hand bend as we wrap around the paddock. This section here is very crucial in contact with the apex curb. If you use too little of it, again, more bumps. If you use more of it, then it's just right. Too much of it, and the cart jumps up in the air. So again, management over undulations is the key word for MSR Houston. You can see, as the apex curb illustrates, there's a solid yellow section that the drivers are going to be attempting to put their left side tires on. That creates one solid jump and then one easy landing to get onto the straight and put the horsepower to the ground. Major braking zone at MSR Houston Speedway, a corner fondly known as Chirps. And as we roll into this corner, you're going to find that a lot of drivers here are going to be excessively hard on the brakes. Very, very difficult to control the cart coming into this corner. You have to be in a straight line, and then as you're turning in for the corner, you have to roll off the brakes. Now, precise placement of the chassis is very, very crucial here to get maximum rolling speed onto Monza. We're at the top of Monza now, and as we have demonstrated soon by this Mojo tire, the official tire of the Pan American Challenge and the international tire for all Rotax classes across the globe, just how banked this corner really is. And by demonstration, we're going to let go of this tire and see where it goes. And you can see significantly, it's very, very banked on this corner. The essential element to the Monza sweeper is that as you travel through this corner, the cart chassis setup has to be perfect, because in all reality, sprint chassis are designed for flat tracks. So when you add banking, and banking is severe as the Monza sweeper, it becomes increasingly complex to get the go-kart to stay perfectly balanced without having too much grip, which will lower the engine RPM, or not having enough grip, which will cause the cart to slide up the banking and create a longer distance around the Monza sweeper. A new addition at MSR Houston Speedway is the chicane section, and it's distinguished by this new asphalt and this yellow curbing here. As you can see down here, there's a bit of dirt rock pile up, okay, on the track surface. And what's happening is the fastest way, at least through the right-hand bend, is to place the tires slightly in the dirt and over the curb, getting into the first part of the chicane. The tricky section is getting to the left. You've picked up rubber and dirt on your right side tires, and now you're about to make a left-hand turn. And as everyone knows, you put a little bit of pressure on those right side tires. You got a little dirt on them, they're not going to have as much grip. So the tricky section is to get as little dirt on your tires as possible through the right-hand section. So we lead into the left-hand section with proper throttle application and a good run onto the main straight where the start-finish line is here. Now, truly, the fastest way through here, in my belief, and many other drivers will say the same, is to put the center of the go-kart right on top of this curbing. All right? So we have a straight line. It's a line with the fewest bumps and a greatest exit speed here. You get it a little bit wrong, though, you're going to find a lot of drivers making an agricultural excursion outside the track. Very, very difficult to get onto the main straight fast here.